Buenos nachos. What's going on, my high vibrational individual expressions of God on earth? Let's get this party started. This is day 256, day 256. Today we want to reveal, explain, illuminate, and simplify business acceleration. Now, before we jump in, I've been sending out the link for the new upcoming class that will be running congruently. I guess that's how you say that. Along with this class, that's wow. It's a little rough, but it's something that we need to go deeper down the rabbit trail or reintroduce, so that way, because there's a lot of information coming out, especially with the artificial intelligence and with the fact that a lot of the old stuff that I did is resurfacing as new stuff. It's old, meaning it's extremely important that we understand how to master the waveform duality state. In other words, there's systems in place that want to manipulate your perception of reality. This is the etymology of the angelic linguistical system, the entire system. I think because, and I've noticed, like on Facebook, people be posting and talking about certain, whether it's quantum physics, quantum mechanics, Qubit science, which is what we're going to be doing in the next series as we get into quantum mapping. I watched the movie The Flash, and the entire movie was about going to different realities and manipulating realities, kind of like with Dr. Strange. So I'm seeing a lot more of the promotion of the D-Wave computer, because quantum computing allows you to go into the dark side, if you will, but they're not talking about stuff that's inside of, like the Transformers new movie, Unleashing the Beast, because when you go over to the dark side, you bring something back with you. So for everybody that's a part of this, you guys already know you get a 50% discount right off the top. Anybody that pays earlier between now and, I think I said, what did we say? I think July the 4th, I give an additional discount. And again, that's just for members that's of the current Kingdom Millionaires Training Center, because this is, I was going to try to squeeze it in 7 days, but there's no way I can squeeze all of it in the next 7 days, or 7 days starting on July the 7th. All this is inside of my books, I Am Too Human, The Vatican Deception, The Cosmoglator, The 13th Zodiac, The Serpent Holder, and my book Enochim. But instead of rewriting the books, I'm just going to add the audio. So July the 7th starts the new series that if you ever listen to anything in your life that I've ever done, you do not want to miss this. The only reason, because there's no way, I could go back and redo the books that I've done instead of talking about the etymology of Sabato or Sabah, S-A-B-A, which means the Arabic word for Shabbat, S-A-B-A-H, which means morning. We'll get the word morning star. So we're going to be revealing, explaining, illuminating, and simplify the history of the morning star, who used to be Sharuk, or Sharuk, S-H-U-K-R-A. Then it became Venus, and now it's Lucifer. So I want to break down the etymology of the angelic language, because whoever controls your language controls you. And so I'm seeing that we are embracing a lot of the star seed stuff and a lot of the quantum stuff, and that's great, but it's all draconian stuff. And so we got to go back and give you that information so you can understand the metaphysical aspects of what I call the demiurge dialect. That is 3 in 1. There's the orphans, the seraphims, and the cherubims. Those are the craftsmen, or the archons, or the genetic engineers of mankind. So everything on this planet, this is the secret to understanding the control grid of this holographic reality. This is the basic of wave-particle duality. Just because we use it, because we're born into it because we are copies. That's why we got the word semen. So everybody here, is there anybody here that was created by the original creator? I want to think that everybody's listening to me today, you were the result of something called copulation. So quantum copulation is quantum computing or quantum populating and communicating. This is quantum mapping. All of this is so deep that we're going to spend 21 days. This will be an extremely private show. I will not be able to share any information. That's why this is not something that I was planning on doing. It's just I'm after watching Transformers Release the Beast, after watching the movie called The Alien Code, after watching the movie The Flash, Doctor Strange Multiverse. I mean, this just Hollywood for whatever reasons. Then I read the book The Secret Behind the Secret by my boy Travis Taylor. It's very, very dangerous where we are at. Because quantum AI is already here. Now AI can produce its own AI. AI is self-sentient, it's self-aware now. And so I ain't scared of it because it works for me. But I need to make sure that everybody on this call, that if you are my friend, to keep you from being manipulated, this next series that starts on July the 7th, that I will be continuing to send out the information. This has totally changed the entire landscape. I had no plans on doing this. That's the only reason I'm doing it, is because this graphite system, which is inside of the Bible when it talks about, and again, this has nothing to do with today's message, but I need you to understand that the creation of the Adamic race is Sabato, which means a star in Arabic. This is the masters of what is called waveform duality. So this serpent race is based upon using Luciference and DARPA to reverse engineer and the let's just say the 13 bloodline families and the Bavarian Illuminati, if you want to use that term, has set up this system that is based upon gematria, which uses quantum spiritual science. Just because we use it does not make it good. Nobody on this planet can communicate without language. If you can, go out and conduct business in this world without language, let me know. So that way, we can start following what you're doing. So before we break down this reverse full reduction system that's based upon the Pythagorean and Pythagoras, again, Pythagoria means serpent speaker. Puthon means serpent in the ancient texts. Agoria, Agora, we'll get with Pythagoras. So the Pythagorean, that is the best system. In this series, I'm going to break down all of the other gematria letters and numbers type systems, so that way everybody can understand, so that way you don't get confused. Because I do have some people try to take shots at me because they don't understand. But they're not a part of the group. I understand. They just see what I post. So in the next series, it starts on July the 7th. If you wait till July the 7th, it's $499. If you get in now, it's $299. If you're part of the Kingdom Millionaires Training Center, we'll make it even better for you. Instead of instead of 50% off, let's go $149. Again, that's anybody that, pays like today, tomorrow, before, let's say, July the 4th. Because that's what I'm posting on Facebook. So graphene, as you will see, is part of Luciference and DARPA and Bill Gates' gene therapy system that uses the jab And you can look up patent number 060606. We talked about this before. That is what is called seraphim, which is code for the word seraph, SERAPH, which is, again, code for serpent. So the jab is really, you have the exact same effects as if you got bit by a snake. I'm not saying that it is snake venom, as some people have said. Because remember, you have to use your words very carefully. Graphene is gene therapy. So we get grapevine, like grape. That's why Jesus turned water into wine. So we've got to break all of the Archon, Anunnaki, graphene system down again, so that way everybody can understand that Aruman and Pythagoras, and which means the destructive spirit, the evil destructive spirit of Duism, Zoroastrianism, monotheism. All of this was founded in ancient Iran about 3,000 years ago. That's what the whole system is about, religion. It is a dualistic system. So now we're going to monetize it, though. But it's just, again, if you go to a restaurant and they're only serving Caesar salad, you haven't eaten in 7 days, you're going to eat the salad because it's being served. When you get to a position where you can, hey, I don't want the salad, I can go to another restaurant and I can order something else. Okay, then you won't eat the salad. But right now we are in a draconian system that's ran by the Dracos. If you want to use that term, which are nothing but fallen orphans, seraphims, and cherubims. But anybody can say that. But I must provide you with proof of that, with $100,000 on the line as we break down the archons. Again, this is nothing new. I need you to understand this parasitic rulers. And I'm going to prove it again. We're going to break down that word Jehovah. We're going to go through the Bible. And we're not going to go and do all the Bible code stuff because, as you will see, I'm going to do some entirely new stuff that I originally wasn't going to talk about because I didn't want to create confusion. Because people think just because I use gematria and I use, again, the life optimization circle, that I don't understand where it comes from. See, I create new words. A new word from an old word. For example, the word Shukra was changed to the word Venus, which was changed to the word Lucifer. That's word magic. Everybody does it. That's how you are able to govern thought. This is all part of the fallen angelic code within language. So on July the 7th, we're breaking down that fallen angelic code within language so you can master it. So that way that it doesn't master you. So you don't fall for the language. And you can write your own language, create your own words, like Sister Cheryl West did when she made a whole new word. Like I did when I made the word cladonomics. You can do that too. That means you are a master of waveform duality. You are a master of the waveform energy. But it's still a spirit. That's what determines your perception. That's called needy. But it's not spelled N-E-E-D. It's spelled K-N-E-A-D. Need. Like when you are combining bread together. This is all part of touchless torture. So we're going to be breaking down serpent speaking, serpent eating, the Ouroboros, and last but not least, sapien, which means serpent born. On July the 7th, this will be the most dangerous thing you've ever heard. Because I've never revealed it this deep. It's already in my books, especially my book, The Vatican Deception. I put it in there. It's in the book. OPHIUCHUS means serpent holder, serpent bearer, serpent. So I'm going to reveal, explain, illuminate, and simplify so that way you can understand while you are conducting business. That's why we're here. Contrary to popular belief. You're supposed to use your reason and logic to control how things look. That's how much power you got. So remember, brothers and sisters, they used their advanced technology to hijack whatever humanoid, we'll use that term, or whatever being was here to create sapien, Homo sapien, which means offspring of serpent, as I will prove using the ancient texts. This is how you and I are able to operate in what I call spiritual quantum mastery. So moving forward, one of the phrases that I will be using more is spiritual quantum mastery, because there's a lot of quantum stuff, and this is no dig at anybody. But one guy, and man, I don't even know how to put this. One of the beautiful things that allows me to be successful, and I want you guys to do the same thing, which is what we're talking about today. And again, there's members on this call, especially some of the new people who are really into another organization that's really promoting this whole, quantum stuff. And I'm an expert in quantum spiritual science. It's in my first rodeo. I know how quantum computing, which means copulation. So copulating, what we call sex, this is the whole world is based upon, nobody's here unless they're a semen entered into an egg. So this is naval. This is maritime law. So nobody knows what that means. Do you understand what that means in the ancient text? Maritime law. That's what this is. That's a draconian system that operates on seamen or the sea. That's where all this stuff comes from. Like my boy, Robert, that recently passed away. That's how he used to talk about all the time. Maritime law. That's why we got the French out of the flag and all of that stuff. That's all draconian, brothers and sisters. It ain't good. It ain't bad. It is. That's just the system that we're in. So source code wants you to understand that there's three types of systems. What I am using is the technology of the Orphan Will. That's the ancient arcane knowledge of the host of the Elohim's capacity to create reality. That's what I do. I bypass space-time, the hologram, the holographic image that everybody else is caught up in. I'm not caught up in the holographic reality. I can see the forest. Now, it took me a long time to get here, but I understand what Socrates and Plato and Zeno, when they created the Hellenic philosophies, based about their, they stole all this shit from Egypt. As somebody, when I talked about this yesterday, some black person said, oh, why are you contribute to the white man? They totally missed the message. That's what Negroes do. Please don't do that. If you don't agree with the message, I don't care if the message came from a white man or a black man. Who cares about race? That's a non-issue, but that's my point. We have to talk about what does Jacob and Boaz mean? Those two poles. They divided it into two systems, but they left off the third system. That's why you can eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but you can't eat from the tree of life because it's not available. So I'm no longer part of the game of eating from two wings, but they're attached to the same bird. The word dragon literally means drag out. That the word rapture literally means to rape, as I will prove. So this draconian system means to drag one out and rape one. That's the system that we're in. The whole world. You are part of this grafted bloodline. You've been grafted in, whether you want to be or not, by what they call there's three orders of the Illuminati. Basically, they use the word anthropos, which, again, we're going to break all of this down for you. That's the covenant that you're in. So I don't care what religion you are. If you're on this planet and you are in a dirt body, your blood has been hijacked and congealed and slowed down by one of the Elohims. Whether it's Orion, whether it's Arcturian, whether it's the Pleiadian, whether it's the Draconian, whether it's the Caesarean, whether it's the Lyrian, whether it's the Andromeda, I'm trying to make sure that I got that. Those are all the blood gods. Fate is fake. So we got to expose the entire system again so we can get out of this draconian control grid and the Yahweh blood reptilian underground hell that we are all in. If you subscribe to celestial mechanics, they call it quantum mechanics now, but it's celestial. So that these fallen angelic frequencies, they created this naval or angelic tradition. So this is a non-spiritual tradition. So how do we get out? How did I get out? How did I get out? I understood and overstood that the system was wrong. Then I looked in that there's human knowledge, then there's angelic knowledge. So we got Pythagoras and Euclid. I think I said Eucli. I don't got my notes for that, but we'll break all that down. But they left out the Orphan system. So Ouroboros, that's the serpent eating its tail. It's not really a serpent, it's really a fox. But it means grafted bloodline. That's literally what it means. Grafted in bloodline. So when you see a halo around Jesus and that bright, what we call a halo, sun, in the ancient text, it means marker of the Orphan wheel. An Orphan or Orphan. That's one of the fallen, one of the different types of angels as we were breaking down. The point of me explaining that is not only to just introduce what we're doing on July the 7th. Again, full price is $4.99. If you register early, you get a discount for $2.99. If you've already paid for the Kingdom Millionaires Training Center, which what this is, then it's only $149. Again, I'm only want to share this because this is only for people that God is really, if you called, if you really sense in your spirit that this is something that you need to understand, so that way you can structure and control your neurons, so that way you don't fall or get manipulated, or your mind, your ability to use your perception or your reasoning logic is not hijacked, because they create new words for the same thing. So by creating a new word for the same thing, we're really they're tricking you, because it's still the old word. They just put a new word on top of it. That creates a metamorphosis inside of your brain, because that word creates a new world that becomes the new you. But you still have the old system. It's just your brain disconnects you from that old system, but it's still there. It just lies dormant. All that means is that all I did is I put a grid on top of a grid. It's called a graphing. That's what Bill Gates is doing. That's what the job is. You got a blueprint, a divine blueprint. They put a blueprint on top of it, and they keep feeding it, because the blueprint below it is more powerful than it, unless it's reptilian. Because reptilian means repetido. I keep repeating it over and over and over again till you learn to be helpless. Because you're not programmed. You got an original star seed, if you want to use that term, crystallite grid. Remember, they have no energy. They came to this planet because, if you want to use that term, looking for light, God, source energy. That's you and I. So what do we do today, Doc? That all sounds good, but I got a light bill due on Friday, brother. Well, we got to accelerate your busyness. How do we do that? Well, we got to increase your ability to be attractive and to get attention. So you shouldn't be out going have to get stuff. People should see your worth and value. But remember, they see your worth and your value, but they're programmed not to see it. They're needy. So we got to get out of the needy, which means needy. K-N. Somebody got they K-N-E-E, they need, and they K-N-E-A-D, need, on your neck. That was the whole George Floyd thing was about. They put that shit in. That was a ritual. K-N-E-A-D. Now, it's like kneading bread. To knead something, it means to work it into a mixture, to manipulate by movement. Knead. K-N-E-A-D. So when you are kneading, that's what it means, knead. So the whole system is to keep you K-N-E-A-D by using K-N-E. E. That's their job, to keep their me. So that way you are in E-E-D. I'm going to keep you in me. So I'm going to keep my me. So that way I am always making sure that I'm going to need K-N-E-A-D, which it means I'm mixing you with a lower frequency, a lower wave, or a lower vibration, or venom or poison by giving you the jab. So now that we're clear on what this whole quantum, you are a biological system. And they're using quantum computing systems to control your biology and your theology because they are your cosmology. We all are in this Orion, Draconian, and any one of the other systems. Those are all fallen systems. This is the hardest thing that everybody has to learn is that I don't care what you say, what you do, where you go, it's all fallen. It's all a system that is disconnected from source. It's easy to tell because it can't do these 5 things that we're going to tell you that you can do. Because you have source in you. Source was so smart that source put himself inside of you in hope that you can bump into yourself. By number 1, focus on quality over quantity. These are the 5 for me that I use. This is how I got out. Now it goes without saying, the first thing I did was I recognized that through, mental touching, testless torture, blah, 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 I was working too hard. They were stealing my, what they call loosh, L-O-O-S-H energy. We put all of this down on July the 7th. Notice the date. Ain't by accident. Because that's what they do. So I beat them at their game. That's your job. If you can't beat them at their game, this is the Yahweh death cult. Now again, this series, especially on July 7th, definitely comes with a $100,000 reward to anybody that can prove that the proto-human angle that you are, this combination of those from above and those from below, this Pythagorean system. Remember the word Pythagorean? Pythagoras means serpent speaker. Sun God. So the deity is Sirius. That's the star system. So we're going to break down human knowledge that has been combined with seraphim knowledge and oraphim knowledge and to control the cherubim. That's the cerebellum. So the double pillars, those 2 poles, Jacob and Boaz, same thing in Freemasonry. That's the 2 philosophies. That represents the serpent eating his tail. But it's not a serpent, it's a fox. Because the fox, F-O-X, what's your mind mantra? F6O6X6 666. They're telling you it's a serpent, but it's a fox. Just like they tell you it's an eagle, but it's not. So your job is to understand serpent eating is tail. In Latin, penis means tail. You can look it up. Don't put all this down. But this has to do with the word Lord actually comes from the word lordship. Lordship, it means descendant from or descendant of a boat. So because these are word magicians, we know this because the Tower of Babel, when they introduced words, it caused division. So I'm talking about the God of Lan-Gu-Age. Puta, not Puta, but Putan. Puta is a Spanish word that doesn't mean benevolent. P-U-T-H-O-N. And then the word Agarios, Agaros, Agoraios. That's where we get the Greek word Pythagoras. It means court of the python. Python, snake. But there's another word that means court of the dragon. But the word dragon, it means to drag one. So I'm going to knock you down, grab you, and drag you, to rape you. That's what we got the word rapture. So all Christians are waiting to be raped because they are in the court of the dragon, as I will prove with $100,000 to anybody that wants to debate. Remember, I don't debate. I'm just going to educate you, bro. Now, how do you get out? How did I get out? I'll change my verbs. So I know that we are living in a world that's a copy. This is not the original. This is a copy of original. So it's a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. They cannot create. They can only imitate. There's a certain culture that can't create. Anybody know what that culture is? I don't know. Y'all tell me. Look at history. The shit's right there. You got to be rocket science. So your job, brothers and sisters, is to make 1,000% sure that you are oscillating and vibrating by focusing on quality. We all got purpose. We got to worry about it. So I got my purpose. So whatever I'm doing, like right now, I got $100,000 if you can prove me wrong. I've been researching this shit, seems like, for 60 years. Let me put up this word. I'll be for. There we go. Euclid. So there's a war going on between Euclid, Euclid, and Pythagoras. But they both pretty much are the same. In that, if you're not a descendant, Euclid, if you're not part of their venomous VATICAN organization, it ain't for you, homie. So, because they just duplicate shit, they just pump out a lot of stuff. They're not interested in quality. So the number one way to get out of their system is to focus on quality. If you're going to do it, do it right, man. That means I no longer do things that my heart's not in. I don't go places. I don't hang out with people. I don't do nothing that, when I say that, I mean, I'm not disrespectful. So I don't want to be I don't do anything to anybody that I don't want done to myself. So I don't want to hang out with people who are disingenuous, meaning that they just marking time. Like, I don't like people who play sports, but their heart not in it. They just play just because they're, like, some basketball players, they just tall, so they just did. And I just play. Excuse me? So we got to get out of that. Number one, make sure your heart is in it. If you're going to do it, man, do it right. You go all out. Balls to the wall. Or ovaries to the wall, whichever one you got. Number two, be an inventor, not a creator. Now, this one is rough. As a creator, the word inventor simply means you do what, Sister Cheryl West did, what Sister Addie did, what I did, what Dr. Span did, what pretty much everybody on this call did. What do we do? Well, I'm doing it right now. I've researched a bunch of information. I understand what's going on. But I chose to invent something that doesn't exist. I call it Qubit science. The next series we're going to talk about Qubit science because quantum uses qubits. And I can't find there's a lot of people out there talking about, so I was going to talk about quantum neuroscience. But there's a lot of people talking about quantum mechanics, waveform duality, quantum protein folding, quantum nanoscience, and neurobiology, because I wanted to make sure that we don't leave out what's going on, what's coming down the pipe with your food. My Sister, who I'll tell you guys about, she's the head of the entire state. Used to be Texas, now she's in Arkansas. There was a foreign company buying up all of the farmland in Arkansas. And they put something in the soil, and now the state of Arkansas, according to my sister, her department, which she's over, they're trying to investigate, and they are barring this foreign country from purchasing any more land because nothing grows on it now. So that's what Bill Gates. I wonder why Bill Gates is buying up all the farmland. That knuckle is a part of that because remember, they usually put an American at the head, but really when you look at the board, it's kind of like BlackRock. Y'all see what's going on over in France right now? They raiding black. They've been rioting, picking. How come that's not on the news? Go to YouTube and type in France riots 2023. It's like a sea of people rioting because of the stuff that BlackRock is doing. If you haven't heard of BlackRock, just Google it. What's the point, Doc? That's what this system is about. It's a death cult. But they want you to die, but slowly, because they need your chi. They need your adrenochrome. But they got to keep you in a state of fear. So everything that is on this planet is veiled knowledge that leads to delineation using Hertzian, retarded Hertz, reverse engineered waves and vibration. You know that word that I just mentioned, Euclid. In the ancient text and in the Greek it's spelled Eukleides. It means to copy or ape. In the Arabic it's spelled Yuqallid. To copy or to make an ape or a pellet. That's what it means. That's the type of knowledge we got. The knowledge that we got is designed to make you a copy of an ape. That's the court of the dragon. That's the Adamic serpent knowledge that governs humanity. That's the two pillars of Freemasonry. That's the Pythagorean Euclidean dialectic. That's what it's called in the ancient text. I got $100,000. I've been studying this shit for a long time. 20 plus years. Easy. It wasn't until I watched the movie last night, The Flash, that I'm like, oh shit. These fools is lost. They just, Dr. Martinet, they just disrespectful with it now. It was a long, boring movie, just like they hide the truth in cartoons and long, boring, comical movies. They make it an action movie, superhero movie, and they got these weird one-liners, and then they show a bunch of TNA because they know the Christians gonna be all up. Oh, look at them. I'm not gonna show my little kids no titties if they ain't seen them before. And so we missed the forest because it got a bunch of trees in it. The Helican dialectic. This is the Pythagorean Euclidean dialectic. That's what we're going to be breaking down on July the 7th. 7, 7, 7. Look at the numbers. Brothers and sisters, source code is really trying to get our attention. And I know for a lot of us, we don't have time and energy. That shit is not by accident. If your life has not been turned upside down yet, there will be attempts. Don't buy it. Do not put your energy into this monochord Luciferian low God, which means low goals, appellate system. It is your job, my brothers and sisters, to understand They are emitting multiple forms or patterns because the power is in the pattern. And this is a binding pattern that binds spirit in body. That is their ultimate endeavor because they need your frequency, your wave, and your vibration. So they're using what is called a circular vessel or a saucer or a orifine, an orifim, the original angel. That's called the circle. That's what we use of knowledge. That's why they got to get it. So your job is to be an inventor. The only way that you can invent, what do I mean by being an inventor? You take something that already exists, you read it, like I'm doing, like this show right now, and then you add your intuition into it. You cannot just regurgitate somebody else's signets. You can, but that's Luciferian. That's all. That's what they do. That's what they do. They can't come up with no shit out the dome. You should be able to invent something, not just create something. So it takes being connected to the real God, because the real God creates from scratch. The fake God has to use some existing parts and components. You should be able to sit down and just come off the top of the dome. It's not that it's necessarily new. You're just tapping into a download from source, and you're taking something that's what quantum computing is, brothers and sisters. Quantum computers, they go off the grid. They get information that's not from this planet. They don't really know how they get it. They just know it works. You can do the same thing. Be an inventor, not a creator. So a creator is just an amped up inventor. I'm sorry, a inventor is an amped up creator. They're still the same. It's just that now you're going to take some ideals. You're going to do your research. And what you're going to do it is taking two poles, Ephesians 2, take the two seeds that are far off and make it one new man. So you take two ideals and you merge them into one. And you put your own unique, authentic spin on it. That's becoming a mother beat source. Now you are outside of the Ouroboros. Because Ouroboros, they can't do that. They can take two things and merge them into one, but they cannot put their own authentic, unique frequency into it because they ain't got one. They need yours. They ain't got a body. These low vibrational entities, these reptilians, what you have an advantage over them. That's why you should not fear them. Do you see how way deeper this is than just a traditional business? That's why with stuff that we talk about in this class and in this group, no, it's not taught anywhere. So when I see people trying to copy it, they're just exposing themselves as a Luciferian zealot because they do not have the ability to take two ideals and create a third ideal. That's how you become an inventor, not just a generator, operating director. This whole world is whack. Every knowledge, I have not read anything on this planet that is not Luciferian. Nothing. I cannot think of nothing, as I will prove on July the 7th. July, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, 7th. 7th. We're in the year 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7, 7, 7. On that day, your life will never be the same. It costs you $499 if you wait till July the 7th, or if you get it after July the 7th. I don't even think I'm going to record it. And if I do, If I sell it, it's going to be for some crazy number like $20,000. I'm going to take everything that I've learned in my entire life and shit that I've never talked about a lot in public, especially like the stuff I just told you guys. And I will prove to you, once and for all, this time, with no guessing, you still walking around here with in the Yahweh coat after July the 7th, you deserve to receive your reward. It is done unto you as you deserve, meaning as you serve. Now remember, pick me up on my $100,000 challenge to see if there are some statements that I will be making. Remember, if you're a member of this group, it's only $149. If you're not a member, then if you register early, it's $299. If you register after July the 4th, it's $499. Everything that I will be sharing on July the 7th and the next 21 days, so I was going to try to run through it in 7 days, keep it even, and I still may. But I don't see how I'm going to squeeze all of it in 7 days. That's an inventor. An inventor takes the existing information that's there, like I'm doing, and they use their intuition, like I'm doing, and they use their God-given, authentic attributes and characteristics, like I'm doing, to make something brand new, unique. That's number 2. Number 1, quality, up quantity. Number 2, being an inventor, not just a creator. Number 3, we all know it is similar to number 1, don't half-ass your product, service, information. So don't be afraid to go all in on one product. Make it truly world-class. Now, the one product can be divided into multiple modules, so that way they can be assimilated, but it should be one product. Everything I do is about what? What I'm doing right now. What am I doing right now? What am I doing? Replacing error with truth. I'm telling you, I got $100,000 that I'm going to prove to you that every religion, just give me any religion, I'm going to show that it's part of what is called the saucer codes. It's a circle of knowledge. The secret teachings of Pythagoras. So we all know what Pythagoras means now. But I just put P-U-T-H-O-N. It means serpent. A-G-O-R-I-A means speaker. What about OPHIUCHUS? You've heard that form before. What about the other guy, the upright talking snake? Starts with the A. It's inside of my book, The Vatican Deception. What about the smelling of burnt meat? That's why we barbecue. That smell. Why do we like burnt meat? I love burnt meat. How come? Well, that's just in the Old Testament. Why does God need to smell burnt meat? Adrenochrome. So when Ezekiel saw a wheel way up in the middle, what was he seeing? It's just in the Bible, man. I'm going to prove it to you, though. Because I've been saying this shit for years. What does the word ferry mean? Anybody know what a ferry boat is? Now, a fairy is like this little supernatural being that flies around. Have you ever heard of a fairy? It's hooked on phonics. Did not work for me. It's F-E-R-R-Y. It's not F-A-I-R-Y. They got you. Fairy, bruh. It's a ferry boat. This is naval, because naval doesn't mean naval. Naval means semen. You are made from semen. Nobody got here without semen. God don't use semen. The anti-God uses semen. I'll prove it to you, though. Remember, don't believe me. I'll prove it to you. Did anybody know what the word winged serpent means? Quetzalcoatl? Blazing seraphim. But the word seraphim comes from the word Safina in the ancient text. S-F-I-N-A, which means a ship. Even in the Quran, it talks about the luminescent one, created from smokeless fire. They're called jinns. How come there's no jinns mentioned in the Bible? But the gems are mentioned inside of the Quran. They are made from smokeless fire, a star. Anybody study Arabic astrology? In Arabic astrology, there's something called a scorching, blazing one. In English, it's called the dog star. So let me make sure you understand, because it's right there in your Bible, and it's in the Quran, and it's in all ancient texts. But the devil is not stupid. He is a linguistical god. Land-gu-age, god of war. That's how he got you. That's how he keeps you. So the only way I got out is I exposed the devil in my own brain. Can't fuck me no more. So there's no quantum touching going on by no fallen devil or demon or entity in my brain. Can't quantum touch me no more, bro. Shit doesn't work. Now you still walk around in this Yahweh cult after July the 7th, though. So I mean, if you want to stay, and if you got, especially for y'all that got Christian family members and all that stuff, don't take the class on July the 7th, because it's gonna be difficult for you. No, you still be cordial, still be nice. I talk to all my brothers and all my sisters. They card carrying for Bible thumpers, just like some of you, high vibration like to belongs. But they know that I know. When I presented them with the facts, they chose to keep feelings. I don't do feelings. I do facts. I don't do shit half-assed. I got $100,000 to anybody that want to look at my research. I will give you 20, 100,000. Got to amp it up a little bit, make it interesting. That's number 3. Don't do your shit half-assed. I don't care what you do. If you in it, you should be in it to win it. So whatever you present to the marketplace, the shit should be pristine. That's how you get attention, and that's how you attract customers and clients. If you got an average product, you're gonna get that. It's gonna attract the average people. Your offer should be irresistible. I ain't even got to the good stuff yet. Wait till what I talk about, what we're gonna be talking about and stuff. I'm just introducing. That's just like the intro. This is quantum neuroscience, brothers and sisters. This is quantum copulating. So that way you can engage in quantum computing, which is quantum communicating, and quantum mapping. But that word quantum is what the dominant culture uses to throw you off of the sit. It's really Qubit, because it's not of this frequency, wave of vibration. They go into another realm, which takes us to number 4. Start seeing yourself as a worthy leader. Not a worldly, but worthy. Number 4 are the 3 steps to get out, so that way you're eligible to join me in breaking down spiritual mechanics, which is, they call it quantum mechanics now. You can see through the forest. So that means if somebody posts something that ain't got nothing to do with you, you will read it and you keep walking. You ain't gonna say shit. Why? You're not gonna waste your world, which is your words. Why would I make a comment on somebody's page I don't even know about something they said that's not even direct towards me? Why would I do that? Why would you do that? Why would I get offended in somebody I don't even know? Let's say if it is direct towards me. Why would I get upset when somebody steals my shit? There's gonna be somebody on Facebook right now they're gonna be exactly what I just did, what I just said. Sometimes it's not even members of the group. That's why I know people in the group share the messages with people that's not in the group. I mean, I do it too sometimes, but ain't nothing wrong with it. But the point is what? Those are copycats. That's the number one sign that your brain has been hijacked by the logos. So, because you can only go low, you can't go high. Low goals. That's why look it up. The word, that's what it means. It means low vibration, low frequency, low wave vibration. So the God of the Bible, he, she, it, keep your ass in the Groundhog's Day. That's the Pythagorean. What's the other word I'm looking for? I was looking at that one. Euclid dialectic. So your job is to get out. And the way that you get out, focus only on quality. That simply means if your heart ain't in it, you ain't going to even touch it. You're just going to walk away. Because your heart's not going to get amplified by religion. Because even when it does, you're doing it for fire insurance. Or you're doing it for heaven. Nobody gets saved unless they want to gain heaven or avoid hell. I am happy because I choose to be. Not because I'm being rewarded or I'm being damned. It's a fucking choice. Until you get there, that's how you know you're part of the Luciferian system. Everybody got carrots. Until you get rid of your carrot, blah. Until you get rid of your carrot, sis, Lucifer gives carrots. He takes you up on the mountain. He says, if you bow down, all these kingdoms, that's a carrot, homie. You can't give me a kingdom, I already got it, dog. Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written. You can't tempt me, man. So until you get to that space, which means, sure, I like help. I would love for everybody on this call, for us all be instant millionaires, for us all to meet here at the house or meet at the shop in Dallas, big round table. We all sit down and we strategize and start buying some tangible physical assets that's not going to deteriorate. Gold, silver, land, apartment complexes. And then we use the equity by making improvements. And then every month we just send everybody dividend checks. Nobody has to work. We all just come together, set up a podcast, and we start sharing this knowledge with the world. That's how you establish health on earth. That's my plan. Anybody want to join me? It's time to get off the treadmill, brothers and sisters. Nobody should be working for money. Nobody should be working for dollars. We already figured it out. We got to use the credit system, and we got to use each other's resources to make sure they're still trying to hold each other down and we pull each other up. Especially if we allow Qubit, man. It's time for this crab in the barrel crap to stop. That's Luciferian. Now the whole system is it. So what you got to do is you got to choose to use it for good. That's how you get out. The only way that I know how to get out is just to use what the devil meant for evil and use it for good. Oh, you found some. Thank you. And to use the system for good. Because when you do that, guess what? They can't use what they call loose energy. Now, it's kind of weird that they even into that. The whole system is, it's like, when you look at the neuroscience, and if you look at the quantum mechanics, which again, quantum mechanics is nothing but spiritual mechanics. But you got to remember that the devil hijacked, because the whole system is the devil. Remember, Satan, that old dragon who had to see the whole world. Remember, he's the god of this world. Remember, all of this inside of my book, The Cosmic Quator. So your neurons, that influence what is called computations. These are like what we call mathematical computations. But it's really protein computations, or what they call protein folding. This is wave functions. So your brain, if I hook you up to an EEG or a MRI machine or a CT scan or do one of the other thing that measures your brain potential, that measures your brain firing, well, it will be similar to what they call a D-wave computer. Because a D-wave computer uses a process called quantum annihilating or quantum annihilating. It's a process by which it uses a energetic ground state. That's how quantum computers work. They work. So they are able to optimize are looking at potential. They look at options, and they are able to select the best option and collapse. So the D-Wave computer, which is not even available to the public, and the thing uses qubits. That's quantum neuroscience. That's spiritual science. That's what Nikola Tesla was trying to explain to everybody. So quantum spiritual science, again, this is the relationship between spiritual mechanics and quantum mechanics. They're really the same. So we got to understand spiritual or quantum management, which is the result of the process of using and establishing a spiritual circuit, which is a quantum circuit, or quantum architecture. They call that quantum mapping. So the quantum world and the spiritual world are pretty much the same. But they're not going to tell you that. So they're trying to put spirits in a machine because they're running out of bodies because you won't give yours up. So the dominant culture, whoever they are, you don't know who they are, they're like, you know what? Instead of using people because they're hard, they're arrogant, they get an attitude, they get sick, they want to call in. How about we make some machines and we put our Draconian spirit in a box instead of a body? That's what AI is here to do. So they won't need your body no more, bro. They're gonna put your spirit in a machine. Y'all saw the movie Upgrade? Stem? What happened? The dude played like he was nice. The guy was a quadriplegic. Remember? I just watched Elon Musk. Neuralink is coming out specifically for the first wave of application for people who are suffering from loss of limbs or paralyzed, paraplegic. Just like in the movie. Y'all saw the movie Transfer? Ooh. A boy upgraded his consciousness to the cloud. I just watched a TED Talk where the founder of the D-Wave computer said they want to upgrade the artificial intelligence when it becomes sentinel into the cloud. What the beep is that? We're going to break it all down so you can understand. But guess what? It won't affect you if you're able to understand what I'm saying and tell you today, which is what? Quality over quantity, number one. Be an inventor, not a creator. Take two things that usually are opposing ideals, put them together, and then you put your unique, authentic spin on it. Bam, you just invented something new. And when you do that, don't do it half-ass. Don't apologize. Do it. Stick your chest out and ask any mother beat to try to prove you wrong. Which number four, see yourself as a worthy leader. View yourself as the most important thing on the planet. Develop a healthy mindset. I ain't saying you got to walk around like being arrogant and cocky. I'm just saying you should be confident and certain. That is the only way, my brothers and sisters. And last but not least, stay in your lane. You will not see. I'm only good at one thing: finding error and replacing it with truth. On July the 7th, I have $100,000. That the information that I will share with you on July the 7th, I have $100,000 to guarantee you never read before. And I got another $100,000 to guarantee that it's 100% correct. And I got another $100,000 that guarantees it's going to fuck up your theology, whatever your belief system is. You're not going to, that's what I'm saying. If you like where you are at, don't join me on July the 7th. So no matter where you at, I know where I'm at, where I'm at. And even though I wrote it, I went back and I went through my book, OPHIUCHUS. And even though I know this shit, But Osama, it's still hard for me to absorb astro. Just what the word astro means. Just a celestial phenomenon that changes your physical constitution. I noticed, Brother Mitch, I wrote that book a long time ago. And even though I read it, I still fall for it. I still fall for the fact because nobody is talking about how the stars, how celestial events control human behavior. Even though it says in the Bible in Psalms 147, verse 4, we see that all the stars are named by God. In Psalms 147, verse 4, all it says that I create stars and blah, blah, I name all the stars. I call all of them by name. We don't understand the God of forces. Well, and then when I went back to my book, The Vatican Deception, which is really most of this stuff coming from out of that book, Vatican Deception, man, you have to do these 5 things every day. You have to, brothers and sisters. Number one, purpose, you got to stay in your lane, man. Y'all cannot get involved in other stuff. This is why it's so dangerous. That's why almost everybody that joined the group from what's his name, my boy, Brother David, because I told him the same thing. And he listened to these messages. But it's dangerous when you become a spiritual prostitute. Because that information is not information. So I'm going to prove to you that all information, I'm going to break down the etymology of the fallen angel grammatical linguistical system that's inside of all language and all symbols and all signs on this planet. I will prove it to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, that what they call pornography, not porno, but pornology. If you like the word pornography, but it's P-O-N-E-R-O-L, ancient text. I mean, not ancient text, but it's a new phrase for orphan, seraphim, cherubim, dialectic. Serpent speaking, serpent eating, serpent born. There are serpent born people that eat serpent and speak serpent. They are called sapiens. You one of them. Homo sapien. So you are, because you were born with semen and an Ouroboros or an egg. That's loose energy. But I got to prove it to you, though. Because you believe that shit was created by God. And you believe that Yahweh, Highway, Byway, Allah, Buddha, Muhammad, you believe all these entities on this planet is the supreme. Not you personally, but you know. We all do. Even when we say we don't, we still do. So you need more proof. So we got to break down the flaming ones, which translates into Arabic as the jinn. It means born from smokeless fire. The blazing ones, which is defined as a seraphim. Shiny ones. B'nai Hafnikash. Heavenly host. Oh, this is in your Bible too. The Elohim, the watchers. They are all the ones who drag you out. The word drag on means drag out. But we got to break it down for you. His real name is Baal, or Baha, B-A-H-I-R, which means shiny one. But at the base of the word shiny is the word sailor, or vessel captain. It's spelled S-A-P-A-N. This is highly morphic symbolism. So the word fairy means fairy, F-E-E-R-Y, and it also means fiery, F-I-E-R-Y. Notice how F-A-I-R-Y, we got fairies flying around, little fairies. Both of those words, they come from another word, S-F-I-N-A, or S-R-E-F-A. We're going to break it all down, which means ship, maritime law, deity of the ship. That's the deity that's inside of the Helios Biblios. So when Ezekiel saw a wheel way up in the middle of the air, I remember that story. What the beat did he see? Oh, yeah. I know what he saw. Deep down inside your gut, I think you know what he saw, too. It just depends upon how much language you've heard that you got to de-language yourself. You got to decompress. Now, remember, all of this stuff is what people are battling in their head when they listen to me and you go do a video on YouTube. You see, what Doc said to make a website, do a book, I did it, ain't shit happening. Well, you're not attracting attention with your original source blueprint because you have years of indoctrination that's laid on top of your crystalline photon. Again, those are Luciferian terms, though, but none of us have our original language. Because I talk about that in my book, Enoching, the language of the fallen angels. So no matter what, Greek, Aramaic, Chaldean, what language you speak, Spanish, Italian, it's all Luciferian. If your lips move and your vocal cords work, it does that because of a fallen entity gave you that ability. So like my kids used to tell me, damn, Dad, shit, we might as well just go find a tall building and just see if we can fly. Nope. You're supposed to override this negative habit pattern with a new life-sustaining pattern. That's the purpose of what I do every day. And that's where we're going to go hard in the paint and exposing on 777. So my brothers and my sisters, make sure that everything that you do starting yesterday, stay in your lane. Start seeing yourself as worthy of being yourself. You are an individual expression of God on earth. As an individual expression of God on earth who has a specific, authentic, unique message, don't put your shit out there half-ass. Be an inventor, not a creator, and focus on quality, not quantity. Do those 5 things, you cannot be a part of this Luciferian agenda. I love you. The source code loves you. We both going to see you guys there tonight. God bless.